This is the Jerusalem Post podcast travel edition. Coming up,
we use these really significant flavors, so when you taste Unicum you can really taste the history.
Which is your favorite?
Well, to tell the truth, I am marketing and selling Unicum, but I'm not drinking.
A couple of weeks ago, I was sitting in the water and it was snowing. It was one of the most mesmerizing experiences I've ever encountered while working here.
So sit back and enjoy the trip with David Harris and Mark Gordon.
Welcome back to Budapest.
It's a little bit cloudy, but it's going to clear up later on. We're having breakfast next to the Danube.
The hotel is lovely, and we'll tell you more about that soon. The banks of the Danube are also beautiful, and we can see the river, we can see lots of people running and jogging, which makes us feel so much healthier.
You're facing towards the city. Can you see the Parliament building in the distance?
I can't really see a lot because there are two very lovely green trees in front. So I think if we're further down the building, then we can do that.
Certainly from up above I could see into the city. Where are we?
We are in the thermal Ensana Hotel on Margaret Island. I'm not going to try and pronounce it in Hungarian.
Oh God, you did in the last podcast.
Margaret Island.
Formerly known as the Island of Rabbits,
yes,
allegedly.
Which I cannot say in Hungarian.
We wanted to bring you a lot more of Budapest. It's a magnificent city, and just one podcast of an hour or so doesn't do it justice. You could spend weeks anywhere, but you could spend an incredible intensive week in this city, in the museums, in the churches, in the synagogues, and we're going to bring a little bit more of that to you in this episode.
And if you're coming for a spa week or spa treatment, you can spend a week, 2 weeks in this city, spend your time in the island, and it's very easy to get out into the city and enjoy some of the experiences.
More on the spa experiences later in this podcast. The first part of this podcast, well, actually, in a minute or so, you're going to be hearing us doing alcohol very early in the morning.
Yes, I have no objection to that. But if we do alcohol early in the morning, then I think we need to think about some treatment later in the day.
Okay.
Should we do a quiz in between?
Yes, let's do a quiz.
What was the name of the Roman city that once stood in what is now northern Budapest?
Does it rhyme with Unicum?
A little bit. It's almost an anagram with a couple of extra bits thrown in, so therefore not an anagram. The answer at the end of the pod.
You're listening to the Jerusalem Post podcast travel edition. Find us on Facebook, Instagram and Twitter at MarkDavidPod, or mail us at markdavidpod@gmail.com. You join us at a crucial stage in our visit to the Unicum Museum Distillery Visitor Centre, where Oliver is about to
Give you a taste sample out of the original classic type of Unicum, which is unfiltered and straight from the barrel, so it's usually more bitter for people than the bottle version.
Mark is going first.
I just saw the dispensing system on there. I want one of these in my house, just a barrel and a...
The slurpy noise it makes at the end is just wonderful.
I do this every time we drink. I sniff the microphone. You can feel the herbs. There's like a warmth on the back of my throat. You get the medicinal thing. It has that sort of cough mixture type flavour. Hopefully I'm not being rude about the
medicinal effects.
I have to pronounce it right. The Unicum. Have a smell, David.
Can you hold the microphone for me? I'm not very good on smells. That was purely for the microphone, okay? It's really strong.
Yeah. Does it have that same strength when you taste it from the bottle, or is it stronger from the barrel?
Alcohol percentage-wise, it's the same. It's just that because it's straight from the barrel right now, it's usually more bitter for people because you can distinguish the herbs and spices from one another, so you can feel it more bitter, more strong.
So what we haven't told you is that there is a secret recipe that only the family members know. So we're not going to know what the ingredients are, but can you try to have a guess, Mark, at any of the ingredients?
Caramel.
But that's because you were told there is caramel in it. Let's talk about the herbs.
I can taste some almost like bark like wooden bark.
Because you know that's the other...
Right.
We would be told 2 ingredients.
See, that might be the fake ingredient.
No idea. I would guess some menthol, but that could still be the menthol from our stay in the spa where we went into a menthol aromatherapy room.
Yeah, that's my back. I'm getting hints of orange.
We have an orange flavored unicum, so I wouldn't think there's orange in the original recipe. But cardamom, for example, is possible. Many people taste cardamom and ginger, for example. I don't know if there's cardamom or ginger in it, but there might be.
So we kind of introduced you just to pour us a glass of Unicum, but tell us a little bit more about the history of the place where we are now.
So this is the old distillery. We produce Unicum here since 1892, and this is the only place where Unicum is made. And currently we are producing 6 types of Unicum. Unicum Plum, which is a much sweeter, fruitier version. Unicum Barista, which is the coffee version of Unicum. Unicum Riserva, which is a sweet wine version. Unicum Orange Bitter, it's aged with blood orange. And also Unicum Tresor, which is a really limited exclusive version of the drink that's, for example, not available right now. But we produce these 6 types of Unicum based on the original recipe and some new ideas as well.
When we were talking to the Visit Hungary team, they said to us, what do you want to do? And I straight away said, I want to visit the Unicum Visitor Centre. Because even though I grew up in England and I live in Israel, it's sort of a name that I know in the background. How intrinsic, how significant is Unicum in Hungarian history over the last couple of centuries?
Well, it became part of Hungary's culture. Of course, drinking alcoholic beverages are really present in Hungary, but Unicum was always this more premium version of the drink. It's not something you just drink whenever you want, but it's really just a travel through times because we use these really significant flavors. So when you taste Unicum, you can really taste the history behind it, also the Zwack family's story. And if you are familiar with the story, you get to even more appreciate the drink because you know what the family went through these years. So it's even better. It's not just a drink, it's really history in your hands.
I'm seeing in the world today that the generation younger than us are drinking less. It's a strange reversal, and drinking tastes change anyway. How does Unicum still appeal to people across the world?
Globally, we see that the total alcohol consumption is decreasing, but at the same time, the alcohol consumption of premium beverages are increasing. People tend to buy the bit more expensive, more premium drinks rather than the cheap ones. And fortunately, Unicum is regarded as a premium product, so people tend to appreciate it more.
Can it be used in cocktails?
Sure, not the original one, I wouldn't think so, but the plum, which is much fruitier, you can drink it with ginger beer, for example, even put it on top of vanilla ice cream, for example. I heard some ideas. They even sometimes use it in cooking as well, when you have, for example, barbecuing and you mix it with the barbecue, for example, is some ideas. It's not the usual way of consuming Unicum, but cocktails very present, yes.
Tell us a little bit about the first room that you took us to.
It was the production zone in the old days, that room specifically, but today is just a museum for us to show the visitors the old technologies we used, the old equipments, the ceramic barrels that were used for the extraction, or the more than 100 years old distillery. And in the middle we have, of course, this huge tray of herbs and spices where people get to play this game of guessing if it's in the Unicum or not. We have one ingredient there that we know for sure is inside, but the others we don't know. It's not that I cannot share it with you, it's that I don't know.
You can come and see all of this, and we're going to get into the story of the family, which is a significant story, particularly for you, our listeners. But you can come here, you can visit, you can see a collection of 17,000 miniature bottles, amongst other things. How can people find out more details about visiting this centre?
Well, they can search for House of Unicum or Unicum Ház in Hungarian, or just search Zwack Museum, and then I think it will show up.
Oliver, thank you very much indeed for now.
Thank you very much.
My name is Judith, and I was working as an assistant of the Zwack family for nearly 30 years. I'm retired now, but for some months I was asked to come back to join the company for archivating things.
What was the company like when you joined?
I was very, very, very lucky that Peter Zwack was my boss, I really respected not only him, but the whole family, because it's a family company and you feel that it's not an international, but it's something like a big family. For example, I had a colleague who came with 2 children and he introduced us, his 2 children, telling that this is my family. And then he turned to his children and this is my big family. And he introduced us to his children. So that's a family company.
We're in, I think, what serves now as the boardroom, but used to be Peter Zwack's office. There seems to be this amazing, colourful history of his life and all the people that he met. You took us to a corner, which I think is a good starting point, is a picture of the Swedish house in Budapest. Tell us about the Zwack family during the war, how they survived, and how they eventually came back to Hungary.
When the Hungarian fascists, the Nyilas, came into power, the Jewish people were in very great danger. And finally the Zwack family, Peter Zwack and his parents, János and Vera Val, who were in their aunt's house. And once 4 or 5 Nazis, Nyilas, who came and they wanted to take them away. And thanks God that the next building was the Swedish embassy where Raoul Wallenberg were. It's also a cousin of Peter Zwack were living there, and he told that I would like to have to go up to have my boots because it was winter and he had no shoes on him. And during that time he was allowed to go up. One of the persons who were there went to the other house and told that the Hungarian fascists are there. And then Larsberg, who was at that time, I think that the first attaché besides Raoul Wallenberg, the huge dog, and he was very masculine because I think that he played water polo previously, and he came back and he told that this house is under the Swedish embassy's protection. As he was a strong man, the 4 fascists ran away, so they were saved.
Eventually they left Hungary, and I understand that Peter went to America.
Peter Zwack had to leave the country because he was a young man, and it was also a danger that the Russian will take him as a soldier. But at that time it was already the sign of the change of the regime when the communists took over the power. So his father put him on a train to the border, and he arrived in Trieste. And he was the first one who could escape. The second was his father, who, as the company was already at the border of being confiscated, and he could save the secret recipe with himself. He bribed a Soviet soldier at big car, and under a barrel he was in a very advantageous condition. He could escape from Hungary. He also went to Italy, and later from Italy they went to the USA, where at the Ellis Island stayed several weeks until they could go out from Ellis Island. And some months later, Mr. Peter Zwack's mother, Vera Val, could also leave the country, and they all of them met together in New York.
Meanwhile, the communists take over the business, and because the recipe is secret, it's not given to the communists, so a sub-quality version of Unicum is made, but then at some point they come back to Hungary?
It was taken back when Mr. Zwack came back. He was one of the first, prior to the change of regime, who returned back to Hungary and created a joint venture, and later, during the privatization, he could rebuy the family company.
So let's go right up to date. The young people are producing all of these different versions of Unicum with coffee and plum and
orange.
Yes. So which is your favorite?
Well, to tell the truth, I am marketing and selling Unicum, but I'm not drinking. I'm sorry. But Mr. Zwack was very tolerant, and he told that he prefers the frank people, and he knew from the very beginning that my favorite is the yaourt.
Judith, thank you for telling us a little bit about the history of Peter Zwack. We could stay here all day, but our guides are standing there saying we can't. So thank you for giving your time to us.
Thank you for the opportunity about speaking the family I really love as my second family.
The Jerusalem Post Podcast Travel Edition.
Wild sausage, which we eat for breakfast, with a Weiss beer and a sweet mustard and pretzel.
If your test looks like that, you are in a lot of trouble.
The toilet is open to the public for viewing only.
From Jerusalem to just about everywhere, the Jerusalem Post Podcast Travel Edition.
I'm Peter Macsai. I'm the general manager of Ensana Hungary, responsible for 5 hotels, 2 in Budapest on Margaret Island, as we say in Margit Sziget, and we have 3 other hotels in the countryside, 2 in Hévíz, in a small spa city of Hévíz, and 1 in Sárvár.
This might sound like a strange question, but I imagine a lot of our listeners don't know the answer. When we see a general manager wandering around a hotel, he's dressed very dapper with his kerchief in his pocket and says hello to people and so on. But what do you really do as a general manager of a hotel?
For me, it's something like to be an actor in a theater and also to be a host, but not only for the guests, but in terms of hosting the staff members of the hotel. I'm trying to create a kind of balance in a triangle. That means make happy our guests, make happy our staff members, and obviously make happy our stakeholders, our shareholders.
I'm going to put your salesperson's head on here. Why should listeners of our podcast and readers of the Jerusalem Post come to Ensana in Budapest?
Besides the unique location, which is definitely one of the most calm, nicest area of Budapest, in the middle of the river Danube, this hotel has a charming environment in a green, beautiful park, but also we are very close to the city center. And you have to know that in Budapest there's no one city center. There are spots of the city considered to be the city centers or the downtowns of the city. So we are very close to many of them, like the Castle Hill or the Jewish Quarter in the Pest side of Budapest, but also in the Gellért Hill, where we have the nice statues and also a couple of nice buildings surrounding. So I think this is, in terms of location, one of the nicest. In terms of services, it's very unique, since beside the usual hotel services like bed, breakfast, restaurant, we have plenty of facilities for those who are willing to have a nice calm day in a spa, for example.
So you asked him to put on his hat as a salesman. Did he do the right thing?
Well, I'm here, so it must have worked.
Where do people come from to stay in Ensana here in Budapest?
We have a nice mix of the nationalities, plenty of Hungarians, locals, not only from Budapest but from the countryside as well. Also plenty of guests from the neighboring countries like Czech, Slovakians, Slovenians, Austrians, Germans, and plenty of guests from Israel. They know how to treat themselves in spa, so it helps us. We don't really have to tell the whole story of the spa, the balneotherapy. They know everything about it traditionally.
The Israeli market is a strong market in terms of health tourism.
Absolutely. As of last year, the number of flights coming from Tel Aviv doubled. And as I've heard from the sales team, a couple of new flights will start this year, so it will help again to boost the Israeli numbers. In terms of spa and medical facilities in Budapest, we are the one and only who can cater these needs.
And North America?
Plenty of North Americans. Mainly it depends on the direct flights. At the moment we don't have direct flight connection, but we are going to have direct flights from the US, which will help definitely the number of guests coming from the US, from North America.
Tell me about the Ensana brand. Is it a luxury brand? Is it a young brand? Is it value for money, or all of the above?
I wouldn't say luxury, it's upper upscale. This is our target. We are 4-star superior hotel in terms of the hotel stars classification, which is a valid and very trustful classification in Europe. Plenty of countries join to this platform.
This is a unique site with 2 hotels. Tell us about each hotel a little bit and which one you prefer?
It's a tricky question. For me, the classical hotel building was always the best and the nicest. So from this point of view, the Grand Hotel, Grand Margaret Island is definitely one of the favorite hotels in Budapest. But I cannot deny that this hotel where we are sitting, Ensana Thermal Hotel, is the nicest in terms of location and in terms of services.
If you're listening to this and you're wondering how far away the other hotel is, you're talking about 50 meters maximum. And if you have a problem with cold weather, there is an underground tunnel connecting the two hotels. If people want to find out more about the rates, about the facilities, what's your website?
ensanahotels.com/Budapest.
As easy as that.
Peter, thank you very much for joining us on the podcast.
And thank you for hosting us.
Thank you for the opportunity. Thank you.
Budapest Faktvar. Budapest List International Airport serves as Hungary's main airport, with direct connections across Europe and seasonal North American routes. There are direct flights from Tel Aviv to Budapest, with El Al, Wizz Air, Bluebird, Israel and Arkia. Budapest has an efficient metro system with 4 lines, including the historic M1, continental Europe's oldest underground railway system. Trams run along both sides of the Danube and offer scenic rides past major landmarks. Taxis, Bolt and Uber are affordable compared to Western Europe. We stayed at the Ensana Margaret Island resort. There are 2 hotels, the Grand and the Thermal. Other luxury hotels include the Four Seasons Gresham Palace, the Alhaptor Palace and the Matilde Palace. There are many apartment rentals ideal for families or Shabbat stays. Hungary uses the forint. As of early 2026, $1 buys roughly 320 forint, though exchange rates fluctuate. Budapest has hot summers and cold winters. Temperatures range from around -1 degree Celsius, 30 Fahrenheit in January, to 28 degrees Celsius, 82 Fahrenheit in July. Late spring and early autumn are ideal times for visiting. Hungarian cuisine features goulash, langos, paprika chicken, and kurtosh, which are chimney cakes. The city has one of Europe's most vibrant Jewish quarters, centered around the Great Synagogue on Dohany Street, with kosher restaurants and Israeli cafes widely available, including the chef restaurant Nitavalo and Ashes, a trendy spot for Mediterranean and Israeli-inspired dishes.
Mark, you look like you're holding 3 flying saucers.
I am. I'm holding 3 buzzy things, the modern things you get in restaurants that tell you your meal is ready. We are at Time Out Market in Budapest. Food market, like a food court with 11 or 12 different restaurants selling high-end street food, and we've been to 3 of them, and we're waiting for our food.
There are lots of options. Oh! Okay, which one is that?
That's Hainam. I think that's Vietnamese cuisine. Let's walk there and talk.
The place is beginning to fill up. This is open from 11:30 in the morning till 11:30 at night, 7 days a week. A bar, they have live music every day. There are people who are here with laptops working. There are families. There's a dog. And it's still making a noise. We need to be going... Which way? Oh, here we go. Oh, yours came in first.
Yes, it did. Let's return this noisy thing back to the man.
So what is our order?
It's a vegan spring roll and a vegan summer roll.
Thank you very much indeed. Ooh, that looks absolutely delicious. Thank you very much indeed.
Yes, we've got like a more deep fried spring roll, which comes with its own little, looks like soy sauce and carrots, and then glass rolls, which are, you basically wet the outside. It's a noodle base, full of vegetables inside, and it looks like it's come with a lovely sauce. So let's take it back to the table, by which point something else will ring.
What I'm really looking forward to is you tripping up, as is your wont, and this going everywhere. We're going to carry on getting the rest of our food, and in a short while we're going to have an interview with the brains behind this project. got our food. Lots of vibrations have been happening. In fact, I think one more dish is finding its way to us right now. That's the last dish.
The langos.
Langos is something that I think we didn't know about previously. You want to explain what langos is now, you know?
Langos is the child of a pizza and a donut together. It looks a bit like donut dough in pizza shape, and then savoury toppings are put on top of it. We had a spelt, non-fried langos yesterday.
Do you know the other thing that it reminds me of, and maybe Hungarians would hate the comparison? What do Georgians eat?
Hachapuri. But it's not oily and it doesn't have an egg in the middle.
Right. Somebody who can tell us about Hungarian food and the concept of this place is sitting right next to us. Who are you, sir?
Hello, my name is Oliver Balog. I'm the CEO and one of the owners of Time Out Market Budapest.
What's the concept? What's the idea here?
Time Out originally was a company which prided itself upon knowing what's the best thing in the city they are operating at. More than 12 years ago, the Portuguese government put their national market on a tender. They wanted to fill it up with restaurants and regular markets as well, but Time Out decided that since they know what's best in the city, they'll try to make a concept which brings these restaurants together and give an experience for both locals and tourists. We are the 12th Time Out market in the world. It's the same concept here. They went through all the restaurants which mattered, both in Budapest and in the countryside. They chose the ones which fit the soul of a Time Out market the best, because it's not just about the best food, it's about both the presentation and quality which they can serve hundreds of times per day. So here it's kind of like the best of the world's mix in between fast food and restaurant. So you can come here. We have 11 restaurants, from local favorites to street food to Michelin star concepts. But you get your food in 10-15 minutes tops wherever you go, however busy the market is.
And it's not just food, is it? I'm looking at a board behind me, and there's a bar, and it mentions sport, but there's entertainment as well. Tell us about the experience here, other than the food.
It's very, very important to showcase the local culture in its entirety, not only the food. So drink-wise, we are proud to be teamed with the Hungarian Wine Association. With them, we created a menu of over 50 different types of Hungarian wines, so you can showcase it to both locals and tourists. Same with the beer. We've partnered with the largest beer manufacturer in the country, which brings us their freshest beer here in Budapest. The culture is just as important here, so we're teamed up with a big local gallery called Apollo Gallery, and we're showcasing contemporary artists in the market, different ones every month. We have many different kinds of music events, from local pianists to local jazz artists to DJs. Any day you come to a Time Out market, you'll see something different. One day it's a piano night and there's some spirit tastings. The other day there's a wine tasting with jazz music. There's something for everyone every single day of the week.
It's got I guess you'd say, a young vibe. It's bright, it's friendly. The music in the background is really for younger people. But I see that there's a very mixed demographic here.
Actually, one of my favorite things in the market, that it has such a great crowd, really, from what you've described, like 18-year-olds come here with their friends for a quick dinner, but couples come here, big groups of friends, but also people who maybe we would not think that they would come to a Time Out market. We have a big group of 60 and 70-year-olds coming here, and they come here a lot for our events. So they love the jazz nights. They love that we have local Hungarian culinary weeks, such as St. Martin's Day. We were filled up with the 60, 70-year-old guests, which was great to see.
There's an area at the back, I think it's called the greenhouse.
Yeah.
What's that about?
We try to build the market in a way that we can host many events at once. The greenhouse is our main event space. It is right behind the main bar. It can host 50 to 70 people at once, and it's good for everything from a company event to a birthday party to a wine tasting, all while the market is business as usual. So the whole thing can go on together with the everyday workings of the market.
You've only been open 6 months. I was hearing as we were walking around that you've already got plans for the future to expand the area and maybe move to the roof.
That's going to be our big new project for the end of this year and early next year. We're going to build one of the largest rooftops in Budapest, which is Time Out-like, so it's going to have a restaurant as well as a huge bar. We're still working on the concept of the rooftop. I'll share more when I can.
You're clearly working very closely with Visit Hungary. How much are you looking to visitors, tourists, finding this place?
I think it's very important for a time-out market to build out a local heart. If a time-out market doesn't have any locals in it, then it's not doing something exactly right. In the beginning, we really focused on building out this local clientele, which I think worked out very well. I cannot say exact numbers, but let's just say we were planning with a lot less of the locals. So it was a huge success for us, and especially for our marketing team, that they were able to garner so much goodwill and love from the locals. And right now we're working on bringing in the tourists as well.
You've just arrived for your lunch. Tell me 3 restaurants you would eat from. I don't want you to say where you wouldn't eat, but I want to say, you're hungry now. What would you eat if it was your choice to go somewhere now?
Today I had the mango chutney burger from Tuning Burger, one of those days.
So maybe make it an easy question for you. Do you eat here every day?
Yes. I tend to go to different restaurants every single day. Like, I'm the main tester-in-chief. So anytime when there's something new, I test it. I try it out to see whether I can see something obvious in it, which is either a fault or how good it is. But yeah, I eat a lunch. I eat here every day in the week, and dinner, once or twice a week, depending on how many events we have.
How much weight have you put on in the last 6 months?
I have a young kid, so I don't know if the weight is the dad weight or the time-out market weight. It's somewhere in between like 5 and 8 kilograms, so nothing too bad. It's like in the last year or two, so it's not since we opened.
Anybody listening to this, and I'm sure lots of people will be salivating at the sound of this, if people want to know more, do you have a website, and also give us the address within Budapest?
Yeah, so our address is Blaha Luisa Square 1. We're accessible through Metro number 2 and the 4-6 tram and a lot of local buses. Wherever you are in Budapest, I'm sure that you'll have an easy way of finding us with transports. We also have a relationship with the Uber. We're one of the biggest partners of Uber in the city. If public transport is not your way of going around in Budapest, then I'd very much recommend Uber. Our website is accessible through Timeout, so it's timeout.com, and then market, and then you can find the Budapest market through that.
Oliver, thank you very much. I think we've got about 3 minutes left to eat all of this food in front of us.
A dessert just appeared that we didn't order.
Vitaly's just turned up with 2 desserts, even though we've got 2 minutes left.
To try that, that's Mákos guba. It's both a Hungarian staple and it's my favorite dessert in the market. You cannot stop eating that, so I would have ordered 2.
Oliver, Vitaly, we've got spare forks. Come and join us and let's eat. Hi, this is David Harris from the Jerusalem Post podcast Travel Edition. Find us on Facebook, Instagram and Twitter at MarkDavidPod, or mail us at markdavidpod@gmail.com.
Oh, a day at the swimming baths.
How many people are behind us just relaxing?
Probably about 20 in 2 medium-sized thermal pools.
Of many. Can you say or pronounce the name of the place where we are?
You know I can't, but I will try.
No, without reading a piece of paper.
Oh, you want me to remember and say that?
This is one of the most famous places in all of where you're getting help. Somebody's actually pointing out the right word to you.
I can't even do Budapest properly. So, Széchenyi.
Ooh.
Széchenyi.
Go on, how do you say it?
Széchenyi.
Széchenyi.
So I wasn't far off.
Like you were Italian.
I was thinking Chinese, but that is a voice, and there is a person behind the voice, so we need to find out who that person is.
Well, my name is Bernadette Kotus. I'm the sales and marketing manager for the Széchenyi Thermal Bath. It's not easy to pronounce, but if you come here on a regular basis, you will not still get it. But we will not teach you how to pronounce it. We just want you to have a good time.
When you see photographs from Budapest of an outdoor pool, this is the one that you see, right?
definitely. Unfortunately, a lot of people associate us with only being a one-pool building. And as you pointed it out a couple of seconds ago, there are many, many pools here. And it's a common misconception that the Széchenyi is only one bath. However, once you come here, you realize it's a lot more than that.
I think my challenge afterwards, when we're finished, is to try and find my way out, because there is an absolute maze here. If you look at the map, there's one grand area outside, which we'll talk about in a minute, but you go through corridor after corridor with rooms and pools and treatment centres. It's a phenomenal facility.
We're recording at the end of winter, beginning of spring. It's chilly outside. You said, let's not really record outside because then I've got to go and get my jacket. But there are hundreds of people outside, almost in the nudie. They've got small swimsuits on. How come?
They are sitting in the hot water, don't forget, and we were standing on the terrace. Major distinction. A couple of weeks ago, I was sitting in the water and it was snowing. It was one of the most mesmerizing experiences I've ever encountered while working here. Obviously, I could come here every day. I could use the pools after hours. I could come here before work, which a lot of people do. A lot of local people come here every day. But I don't get a chance every day. I have small children and I rush to go home and look after them. But on my rest days, I go to other baths. But when I had a chance to come here, I'm not going to lie, it was about 0 degrees, so it wasn't really hot. It was beautiful and nice and hot. But obviously when you're standing outside in your normal clothing, you're not going to jump into the water. At any time of year, I think especially in the wintertime, the thermal water is very comforting. And you have a very relaxed feeling that you're in the hot water, just like in a hot tub, but the atmosphere, the surrounding, this beautiful iconic architecture makes you feel very, very special. And I said that even though I've been here many years.
The building itself is magnificent. Can you tell us when it was built and a little bit about the history of the building?
The building first opened to the public. It wasn't for the well-to-do, even though it looks like a palace, at 1913. Obviously, there were a few months and years that the building wasn't fully functioning, most recently during the pandemic, prior to that, during the World War. However, a couple of years ago, I met a lady who was at that time 92. She said she did come here during the World War, and it was functioning. There was a few damages, and they covered it. And the rest of the building was business as usual. I wanted to understand from the local people, why did you think you needed to come to the bath? She said it was for feel normal. And that can be said for a lot of local people here. It's part of our lifestyle here. The idea of the building, the architect commissioned the best of the trade at that time. We're talking about the beginning of the 20th century, and the idea came in the previous century that this building needed to be built because there were several baths on the Buda side. The Romans built some baths, no longer in use, and then the Ottoman Empire, we were oppressed for a couple of years. They have built their own baths. It also has a Turkish bath. We don't. We are, you would say, a modern bathhouse. And at that time, when this was built, this was a breath of fresh air for the Pest side population. People who were on the Buda side, different social surroundings. People on the Pest side, more the working class population. People who couldn't travel abroad, they couldn't go to the sea. And there was at a time that there was sand at the outdoor pools. I've seen pictures. I never had a chance to see that for myself, but the idea was that people, they couldn't travel. The travel for some years was not allowed for everybody. They had a feeling of they going to the beach. And I think that's wonderful, that in the middle of one of the biggest capitals, you can just easily go to a pool any time of year.
Was this always a public bath? Is this like a constant through life in Budapest, whether it was the communists, whether the current government, going back to the Habsburgs even?
As I've heard from my peers, that there was a time that soldiers were sent here. Some of the bath was used by them. It wasn't something we wanted to do, but it was something we had to do. But still, it was accessible at the same time for the general population. But up until 1981, this was non-co-ed. Very interesting. Some of the baths in Europe are occupying the same way that we do, but there is one bath in the city that's still distinct days for women and men. We don't do that here.
How good are you with science?
Ask my science teacher, maybe. Tell me.
I know nothing about geothermal things. Can the water ever run out? What's being supplied from down below?
I don't need to be a scientist to know this. I think in general people know that in Hungary it's accessible. I myself learned through the years working here that even if there was a drought in Europe, we would be okay for the next 100 years. And having said that, we also look after water management. I'm not an engineer. I don't have a specific knowledge on how it's done. Luckily, I don't need to be. But as far as I'm concerned, it's a very serious business to look after your recycled water. In fact, the water that we have here that you see right now, it then goes to several other buildings heating. So geothermal energy we consider something modern, yet it has been with us for thousands of years. If you think about it, the Romans knew how to have underfloor heating, and now in 2026, people are still considering it new. It's new because the gas was installed and we opted for it, but in this building, we have natural heating.
I'm looking in front of me at the two baths. There's a wide age range in there. I've heard that the bath culture favours the older people and is becoming slightly less relevant to younger people. What are you doing here to bring more younger people in?
In the last couple of years it's shifted. I think COVID made a major change in that. People realize that they can do something for the health. I don't think a lot of people come here with that mindset, because as you said, there is a huge age range. The younger people mainly come here for its beautiful architecture. They want to have a good time, but they realize they'll feel good afterwards. They don't necessarily link the two things together, unfortunately. But as you saw, the elderly population come here because they know. So obviously our work would be to try to train the younger people to come and do something for their health. Right now we have quite a few student discounting schemes to improve their culture in going to the baths. And several, including the Széchenyi, our baths are open one day during the week late. So you could come after whatever you were doing at 10 p.m. Now they're talking about more days to be including more people, but right now Széchenyi is Friday, that's open late, so you could come after work, easy peasy, on a smaller fee, so that I think helps and encourages the youth to come, because they consider the Széchenyi, I don't know, a luxury destination if you live here, because it's so expensive, but if you consider that going out of the country to go to other baths would be so much more added cost. So I think there is a trend that the younger people looking at different aspects of bathing. And then the Sparty, you said that you know about it. The Sparty attracts only the youth, I think. It's not a disco per se, but it's music in the water with amazing entertainment. It's very, very difficult to picture it, and you would, I think, righteously say, how does it come together with the concept of healing water? And that was the idea, to bring in the younger generation, and it helped.
For tourists, how do they get tickets? How do they find out more?
You have two ways. You can either book it online or you can book it here in person.
And the website address?
You're going to have to pronounce it.
No, you are. You're telling me.
I like you. I like you very much.
Well, actually, there is a trick. We don't make people to say it. It's Budapest Spas.
Oh, for goodness sake.
Much easier.
BudapestSpas.HU. BudapestSpas.HU.
Or you can Google SZECHENYI. Széchenyi.
You say it.
Széchenyi thermal bath.
Yeah, you got it without the accent.
I try. I really try.
Thank you so much for your time, and enjoy.
Nice to see you, and come next time, this week, tomorrow, today, maybe.
You're listening to the Jerusalem Post podcast travel edition.
We are in the beautiful Italian city of Napoli.
We're in downtown Dubai.
We are at the Mountain Dew Synagogue in Baku.
We are in the magnificent city Krakow.
The Jerusalem Post podcast travel edition brings you the joys of travel and tourism. So why not subscribe today wherever you get your podcasts?
There's a lot to do in Budapest, isn't there?
Yeah, much more than we thought.
Indeed. Because at this point, we were meant to give you the answer to the quiz, but
we're only about halfway through our day.
So you're going to have to wait for the quiz answer till the next episode, which is the second time we've done that. We did that in China as well, I seem to remember.
Well, you did that, but that's without me. You just go on and on and on and on and on.
Yeah.
And on and on and on. Anyway.
You were busy being sick with your wife on a boat.
A ship, David.
Let's say some thank yous. You want to go first?
I do. A big thank you to Vitali and Veronica, who organised this trip and brought us to beautiful Budapest. And that's not easy to say. David has edited this out 4 or 5 times at least.
He doesn't know that he just got it wrong. We want to say big thank you to 2 Olivers, Oliver at Time Out Market and all of his team, to Oliver and to Judith from Unicum.
We should start singing the Elvis Costello song, Oliver's Army.
Ah, very good. I don't know it. Who else? No. Bernadette?
Yes. I was going to do the joke about getting my electricity bill and setting light to it, and that's how you Bernadette.
Yes, old, very old. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen, and particularly to you, Bernadette, because you actually do have a good sense of humour as opposed to Mark. And a thank you to Peter from the wonderful Ensana Hotels.
Enough of the dad jokes. David, how can people get hold of us?
You can email us markdavidpod@gmail.com, or you can find us across social media at markdavidpod.
Join us in a few weeks' time when we finish off today and give you the answer to the quiz question.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Hello.